Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Today is the day. We don't have boxing gloves on, but we are wanting to bring you guys some funny stuff just about our marriages. Gail, this is Gail Bertram. I'm Deborah Swayze. You guys, we're co-founders of this incredible platform. And if we can't come out here and make silly fools out of ourselves to entertain the public, then good are we, right? So
Right.
we just wanted to talk today a little bit about pig-headed men.
Oh, what are you doing in here? You're not supposed to be in here.
I'm telling you, yes, because we will rock. We will rock. We will rule.
Get out of here.
Girls rule and men rule.
I got the money. I didn't know he was going to do that.
Of course you should know. He wanted to surprise you. He's hoarding in on our time. Now that I see what he did. Woo!
Oh my gosh. I can't believe he did that. He's not going to win. You girls better start voting.
Please, anybody on here, share this out. Start voting. The more comments, let me tell you how this is going to run really quick, guys, is we're going to make it really simple. The team that has the most comments, engagements, and shares are going to be the winners. We don't know what we're winning yet because Devontae and Dave, the other two founders, are going to get some prizes. So I'm sure they went and got girl stuff because the girls are going to win. Simple as that. Hey, Charlene, girls rule, girl, yes.
No.
Oh,
no. Can't see you.
No.
I can't see you, baby. I can't see you.
No, the girls are.
See, but you don't have the boxing glove. Bill can't
But they're.
it's not fair.
Yeah, I got her on wheels. I can just move her. Oh,
You guys are taking up our time.
Bill didn't do any favors, though. He just told me what we were going to talk about 10 minutes ago. I had a completely different idea, but like I told him, I'm going to.
Hey, you'll figure it out. Get off the air time.
I think they want to take all of our airtime away from us.
All right, so that's very simple, guys. The more comments we get, so start commenting, start sharing this live. At exactly 7:30, we will switch seats. They will come in and they will give you their sob story. They're trying to tell you about how things are better for men and all that stuff. We're just going to bring you some funny shit. Excuse my friend.
Some what?
You heard me. Go away.
That stuff.
Go away. Some funny stuff. Some funny stuff. It's hard to do with these guys in the same household. They're terrible. So we're going to tell you some funny stories about hard-headed, pig-headed men. My first story is going to be, and then I'll pass it over to Gail, is my husband, when I met him, pig-headed wasn't the word. He was very much, had been married for 40 years, had a family, and raised a whole family and a whole life before we met. So he was the head of his household. I was the head of my household. I was a single mama working crazy hours. And when we met, he told me right off the bat when we met, started dating, that he was the head of the household. And I thought, whatever, because I'm the head of my household. So we kind of locked horns a little bit, and he told me, you know, things were going to be a certain way, and he was used to this. So we kind of laughed it off, but it was serious to him. He did not do leftovers. He was a meat and potatoes man. He didn't do spicy foods, that kind of stuff, right? So I kind of laughed it off and told him he was going to starve. So bottom line is he had to buckle down and start eating my leftovers because I love to meal prep and I make food ahead of time sometimes. I can make a potato dish that can go for 3 weeks. Just kidding. but I'll freeze stuff and bring it out. But then again, what else makes this man so headstrong and pigheaded is he always thinks he's right. Now, to me, that's hilarious because I think everybody knows that men don't know, period. Everybody knows men don't know. And he always battles and battles. And as deaf as this man is, guys, he will make me rewind a TV show because he knows that he heard it the right way.
Because I'm always right.
Get out!
Way to go, Larry!
They're so bad. We're not going to do that to them. See, now
we're not.
Listen to Bill here. So, bottom line is, he cannot hear. He wears hearing aids. And he will argue with me, and we will waste 20 minutes of a show because I've got to rewind and rewind and rewind till he hears it right. And sometimes we have to literally wait for him to change the damn batteries in the hearing aids so that he can hear clearly. Well, guess what, guys? He always hears it wrong, but for 16 years, he still makes me rewind. That is just one pig-headed man. And let me tell you, and he told me too early on, he's not the type that goes to the doctor. So because you're a nurse, he said, don't try to take me in there for everything that you think I need, because nurses are weird. You guys are hypochondriacs and you just know too much, right? Well, that pig-headed man almost died. You know why? Because he had a stroke. And having that stroke, he did not want to get on. Before he had the stroke, they told him he had atrial fib. Should be on blood thinners. Wouldn't get on him. He was on aspirin, but not blood thinners. Having a stroke and calling 911 on him to get him to realize I was in control of his health and not himself, period. But the funny thing is, talk about a pig-headed man. Gail, you're going to laugh when I tell you this one. I don't think I ever told you that. Go away. I called 911 because he had the stroke. We were sitting in the car and he couldn't get the keys in the ignition. And he looks at me and goes, something is wrong. Honey, you're having a stroke. I'm calling 911. He argued with me while he's having a stroke. He's looking at me going, aren't you calling 911? That to me is hilarious because there's 3 times since we've been married 16 years that I saved his butt from dying. Thank you, guys. I see all the ladies on here. Sarah's out, guys.
Yay. Hello, ladies.
We got 20 more minutes. Okay, tell us a few stories, Gail, of your
Oh my gosh, I think they're probably, if I didn't know better, I think they were twins from the same mother or something. I mean, it's really strange because Bill's so much like that. So, but let me tell you what his pig-headedness stuff kind of is. So, ladies, what about pet peeves? My husband will only eat Hellman's mayonnaise. He's so brand affected. I mean, when I married him, you know, I had just got out of college, working, having 3 kids, being a single mom. I'd go to the dollar store and buy the food or whatever I could find just to feed us all. And he is like brand conscious forever. I mean, everything has to be a brand name or he won't even eat it. He won't eat it. He won't touch it. He throws it away if it gets into a refrigerator. Okay. So, you know, and, oh my gosh, I have so much I can tell. Okay, can I ask you guys a question? Does y'all's husband throw his dirty clothes on the floor?
Oh God, yes.
I mean, so you know, I think it's his mother's fault because when I married him, he is so used to being so babied. I mean, now don't get me wrong, guys. I love it. That's part of my job as being his wife. I love it. But oh my gosh, you know, I could just go on and on. I'm trying to think of some things he's really pig-headed with. Oh no, Deb, help me out. Hey, you get out of here. He keeps coming in here. They're interrupting.
They're so bad.
Okay, yeah, that is one. Putting the toilet paper roll on the toilet paper holder the wrong way. I mean,
What is the wrong way, Gail?
I use it up. He likes it down.
I understand. It's so
fired or sent our employees home because they put the toilet paper roll wrong in the bathroom. I mean, he's so picky about that stuff. And here we go.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So that's just a few things that he's pig-headed with. I mean,
he's a pig. One thing Bill's pig-headed with, he's a camera hog.
oh yeah, he's a very big camera hog.
Yes, he is.
He loves the camera. He loves to entertain. That's why I married him. I mean, when I met him, he's so happy and so full of joy. And I mean, he's got a big heart, but he loves to entertain. I mean, he makes me laugh all the time. I never stop laughing with this man.
Well, that is such a great trait for a man. Let me tell you, girl, because mine's the same way. And ladies, please comment below if you guys, with the word funny, if your husband is funny, or laugh if he makes you laugh, because you know, they think they're funny, because sometimes they do stuff that isn't funny, but they make us laugh because we know who they are and how silly they are. And the bottom line I think, guys, with a pig-headed man,
with it, please.
and you ladies, I know you can all relate to this.
He's coming here with a phone going. Oh my gosh.
I know. See, that the thing is what you don't realize, Bill and Larry, you're making our life better.
That's why we married you. You had
Oh
something.
my goodness. That's why they married.
Larry just said, he goes, we married you because you both had assholes before.
So, ladies, if you're out there, please vote for us, share us, like us, and everything. Give us votes so we can win.
Yes,
Somebody's got to take care of them.
Get out of here.
I tell you what, talk about stubborn, pig-headed children. Man, they're like little boys. You can't get rid of them. This one's standing on the door jamb like this, just waiting for a clue to come in. I'll tell you what. But guys, you know, tell us your story, ladies. We want to hear about pig-headed men, and anything that's commented on and shared during the first half hour, guys, counts for the women. Keep that in mind. As soon as we get off and they come sit in these seats, it's war. It's war because they have not let us sit here quietly and peacefully and talk on them. So they're going to have fun sitting in these chairs, period.
We were quiet.
We were quiet. Oh, what a child. So ladies, come on. Tell us some crazy stories. Gail, tell us how long you guys have been married.
So we have been married 26 years. So this is both of our second marriages. We came from divorced parents raising children. When we got married, I had 3 boys. He had 2 girls. We combined our family and we adopted William. So we've been married for 26 years. And he tells me now that he's had me longer than my mother had me. That's the story, yeah. But right after
28 years. She don't know how to count. She thinks she's 58 or she's 57.
God, I thought it was 28. I was going to correct her, and I said, no, I'll let Bill take care of that. 28, Gail. You lost 2 years, girl.
He had been in trouble. That was him, and he forgot. I forgot. So I'm bad.
What's so funny, guys? We always tease and say that we're married to the same type of man because of the personalities. These 2 men both have worked really hard to become successful, and they did it with nothing. They started just from nothing and decided they were going to bust their butt and take care of their families, which is such an unbelievable thing because nowadays you don't see that dedication to as much as you used to. And I admire both of these guys, no matter how pig-headed and stubborn they are. But the bottom line is we are married to the same guy because, first of all, when I hear you all's story, we have 6 kids between us too.
Oh my gosh.
And he had 4. And we have 10 grandkids, but it's so similar, which is so crazy, you know, and your love for dogs, our love for dogs, we're always posting silly dog pictures. And I cannot wait for the day that we all meet in person because that is going to be some laughs. That is really going to be some fun. Well, we've only gone 15 minutes. So we still have a lot of time with a lot of stories. So if you have one, Gail, shoot. If not, I'll tell you one of his pain in the ass stories.
Oh, you go first. I'll think about something for him.
Okay,
You're
well,
good.
put it this way. My husband one day, it was his birthday, and we had all the kids over, all 6 kids, and we were taking pictures and barbecuing at the pool, and my nephew comes up to me. He was over there too, my sister and their kids. And he came up to me and he goes, "Where's Larry?" And I said, "Well, I thought he was grilling." He goes, "No, he went and laid down." And he goes, "There's something really odd. He's acting really weird." He said, "I think your propane tank might be leaking or something," because he was really out there, right? Well, I wasn't really surprised because I had been trying to wean him off of certain meds he was on that they had him on that were making him really weird, stuff he shouldn't have been on for restless legs. What it's called Elavil, and they had him on too much of it, and it was really making him kind of senile. It's weird. So I went and checked on him, and he was laying in bed, and he was pretty out of it. And I said to him, I said, "You know, honey, there's something wrong with you. I'm going to have to take you to the hospital." And by that time, his brother-in-law had come in. All his kids were standing at the doorway of the bedroom.
My oldest son.
And
yeah.
his oldest son is a drug rep, and one of them's
let me
tell the story.
Chad.
Chad is the younger one. He's the drug rep. The other one is a biology major, and he goes, "There's something odd with Dad." And I said, "I'm going to call 911. He goes, "You're going to do what?" He goes, "He's going to be so pissed." I said, "First of all, he's out of his mind. He's not going to know." I said, "Secondly, and that boy Larry jumped out of that bed. He heard 911. And like I told you with the stroke, he walked away from the ambulance. He got up, stumbling all over the place. Everybody was laughing and saying, 'Oh my God, this man is going to divorce you.' All his kids were laughing so hard. We finally got him in the ambulance, and it was bad because they kept him for 2 weeks to detoxify him from all the stuff. So that guy, if it wasn't for this broad, would have laid there with his pig-headedness and died. He could have died.
Wow.
It's crazy, the stubbornness.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I kind of have a hospital one too. We're going to talk about hospitals and then being stubborn. Excuse me. Bill was in the hospital and he wasn't doing very good. And every time I went up there, he kept telling me, "If you don't get me out of this hospital, I'm going to divorce you. They're trying to kill me. Do you understand this? You've got to get me out of the hospital." And I kept saying, "I'm not going to get you out of the hospital. You're sick. You got to stay here." But he kept telling me, he was serious that he was going to divorce me if I didn't get him out of the hospital. And he was acting funny. He was jumping on the bed. He was just acting really weird. And I told the nurses, I said, "There's something wrong with him. He's not acting normal." And he looked at the nurse and he said, "No, I'm perfectly normal. She's crazy. She needs to go." And the nurse looked at me and she's like, "He's asking you to leave. You have to leave." And I was like, "I'm not going to leave. What are you talking about? What's wrong with him?" And she's like, "No, I'm going to go call the doctor and you're going to have to leave because he wants to get out of his room." So my daughter was there and she's like, "Mom, it's midnight. Let's go home. You take a shower, kind of chill. You've been up here for days and then you can come back." And I was like, "Okay." So I come home and about an hour and a half later, I got a phone call from the Mansfield Police Department. And they were like, "We have your husband in the police car." And I was like, "No, my husband's in the hospital." And they're like, "Yeah, I know. He told us that he broke out of his hospital room. He was actually like in ICU. He took all of his office stuff off of his IVs out of him. He had his gown on." I make a joke he had nothing in his gown, but he says he did. And he left that hospital and was walking home.
Oh my God.
They found him on the house. Yeah. And his story is, I was like, "Your gown was wide open." He's like, "No, I took weeds." Now, my husband's a big man. "I took some weeds and I tied them around me and I shut my gown." But, we could tell stories about him all the time. But, he was, I don't know why he had to get me out of his hospital room. He did. But then he thought since I had to leave, he had to come home too. So he went to the hospital.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. There was a story that's so similar with Larry. That's why I said these two were two of a kind. When Larry had his stroke, they had to put a pacemaker in, and that was going to take him a little while to heal after that. That's why they were keeping him, because he did really good after the stroke. He came back totally, almost 100%. But he got so sick and tired of sitting in that hospital room, and he told me he was going home, just like Bill. I'm going home. I'm stir crazy. These people are not keeping me here. There's nothing wrong with my heart. I'm breathing, and I'm standing right here in front of you. I'm not staying here one more minute. And I was walking away to get away from it because I couldn't take the stress. And I told him, I said, not only am I working, because I was still working, I didn't want to give up my job at the time. I am working and coming back and forth for 2 weeks here, taking care of the house, taking care of the dogs. You're going to stay here. And he told me, he goes, I'm not. They're going to have to call the cops on me because I'm leaving. And I told him, I said, what can I do to make you stay? You know what that little son of a gun had me do? He goes, I need to have a little bit of home here. I said, okay, how am I going to bring home here? Go get my dogs. I go home. I put the dogs in the back of the car, and I drove up to the entrance, and the nurse was cracking up laughing. She said, is he serious? She goes, I'll wheel him out if you bring the dogs, because you can't bring them in. So we brought the dogs up front, and he got in the back of the car, played with his dogs, and he would go back in like a child.
Oh no.
It's so funny how they're alike.
That's fun.
You know, and either what I find, tell me if you agree or not, do you find that people either like that type of personality or don't?
Yeah, I have friends that love my husband, and then I have friends who are like, oh my God, do I have to be around him again? I mean, and it's not that they don't like him, it's just like, oh my God, you know, they're like, oh my gosh. So yeah, they either like the personality or they don't.
They don't. It's so funny. It's either people connect right away with him and they giggle and tease, or they're like, stand back and just wonder, it's like, what do you see in him? You guys are so different to some point, you know? But there are so many things that are fun about that type of man, because I love a man that gives me a challenge.
Right.
If I want a man that just gave me everything, he does give me everything I want. But you know, like right away, he makes me like fight for it. I always tell him, I said, honey, you always end up giving me what I want. Why do I gotta wait a year for it? Like these cars. I wanted these cars. That's when we moved in. Oh, we'll get around to it. We'll get around to it. But it's just so fun to have somebody that's just doesn't give a shit. And that's part of what I like about Bill too. They really don't care. You know, they're happy in their skin. Right. They're happy in their life. And I feel the same with you and I. I mean, we're very comfortable and happy with who we are, where we stand when we walk with God. Right. And I think that's why I connected with you, is because I believed you. You know, there's so many people you meet that they are not who they show you. Exactly. And in this day and age, that's scary, because a lot of people show you good stuff and then you find out it's not. It is hilarious. We got time for one more story, Gail.
I'm just going to say, instead of saying a story, I'm just going to tell you guys this is a good thing too, because the good thing about my husband, with him being the way he is, you know, I call him my commander, because he's always filling out orders. But you know what, guys, he's the backbone behind our family. He's our rock behind our family. You know, he's always there no matter what, even though he is so stubborn headed sometimes. And I have to say, hey, you are so stinking stubborn headed. Let's get back to the ground line. But, you know, there is a lot of good traits in that, with them coming up to be stubborn headed. So, but yeah, I mean, I talk about him, but you know what? I married him because I love him. So, and that's why I'm here, because I love him, and he's been the backbone with our family. I mean, he's been our rock.
Absolutely. And they're both.
I pick up his underwear and his socks, and
you know, we come up with that little bit of stuff.
Yeah, you know, I get up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and fix him something to eat if he's hungry. Yeah. You know what? That's how my mother raised me, to take care of my husband and my kids. I mean, I did the same thing with my kids. I still do it today. If they call me and say, "Hey, Mom," I'm like, "What can I do for you? You need food? You need your laundry washed?" You know?
Absolutely. And it's so funny because I think Larry was, when his wife died, she had brain cancer, and he was pretty well lost for about 1.5 years till we met. And I think he always says that he had 2 chapters in his life, chapter 1 and chapter 2. He said he doesn't love one of us more than the other. It's just a different book, a different chapter. And he says, I was blessed twice by 2 amazingly strong women who loved me even stronger. And both of us were Virgos, which is very funny. We were both Virgos. And he always says that. And he has never once made me feel like I was living in her shadow. And I thought I would, because I had never dated anybody that was a widow. I had always dated people that were divorced. You know, we're 16 years apart in age. So I was always in that generation, in that group of people that had just gotten divorced. So when I met him, first of all, I thought we weren't going to work because of the age difference. And he had a whole life before me. But you know what? He never for one time, guys, made me feel that I was living in anybody's shadow, and that my love was completely different and enough in this chapter. Isn't that incredible? Yeah.
Oh,
So if anybody here has any
incredible.
questions for us later, it is, and it's just it is so fun to be in a marriage and in a partnership to whereas you can laugh, because laughter, guys, is the best medicine. A child laughs 6,000 times in a day. A child does, okay, like a 6-year-old child. An adult, 600. So guys, we got some laughing to do and catching up to do, because it's time to be happy and enjoy the life you have, and make fun of each other and make fun of yourselves. Don't take everything so serious, and never go to bed mad. What's your advice for being mad as long as you were?
Yeah, never go to bed mad. Never go to bed mad. And ladies, vote, vote, vote. I do not want my husband waking me up in the morning and telling me he won. We have to win.
Share.
Yes. I will never hear the end of it if he wins.
To make a ton of comments right now. Do a lot of just do a heart in every comment. That'll count as a vote. So heart comments. And share. Please, because we will never, if you guys heard
Our turn. Come on.
if you heard the type of man that we are married to, guys, we're never going to live this down.
Never live it down. Never.
Right.
And we can't let the men win. They can't beat us. They don't have anything good to say. I bet my husband doesn't tell people I pick up his underwear. He's going to kill me after the show.
All right, we have to come on. Okay, ladies, here they come.
No, Bill.
Bye.
Let me find my husband. Of course, he's not in here when it's time for him.
I'm ready, Chris. I'm ready. Come on, Bill.
Start asking people to vote for you.
Come on, Bill. Oh, they already vote. We don't have to ask them.
You think they're going to vote?
Oh, they're going to vote for us without even asking. Yes.
Look at Bill. He puts you in.
While we're waiting, I'm just going to tell a cute little story.
Go right ahead, baby.
My wife and I, after we got married, we were probably married about 6 months, and from day one, I wanted her to quit working. I said, "You're working, I don't want you working no more. You're working with these old people." She goes, "Honey, but you're that age too." I goes, "Come on, I'm not old. That's just, that's just what it is." So she said one day, she said, "You know what I love to have you do? Would you dress up like Halloween and go into the?" She worked at an assisted living. She worked at an assisted living place, and she goes, "I want you to dress up a little bit." Well, the first year it wasn't too bad. She let me wear a wig, one of her old wigs. So we go in there. And these old ladies. Hey, what's up,
Hey, before you finish telling that story, why don't you bring that old wild gal back in? We'll just let them sit here and make fun of us while we're telling our stories.
Yeah, right. So
They got to get the boxing gloves out, right? Look,
the first,
now, come on. So what are we doing with wigs? Because I could use one.
We are not going to hype up y'all's story.
Bill, it was
See,
fun.
they're chicken. They're chicken. You hear that? I heard them chickens in the background.
I said we're not going to hype up y'all's stories.
The first year it was funny. She let me wear a wig. Okay, so the second year comes along and she goes, "Hon, let's do it a little different this year.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than you wearing a wig, how about if I strip your hair and we'll make it black like it was when you were younger?" I goes, "Well, I trust you. Yeah, go ahead." So she did that, but my hair didn't turn out black. It turned out yellow. we got.
You know, I had a perm put in my hair when I was a teenager, and that hair since.
I mean, that was so hilarious. These women looked at me and they go, "You ain't the same man that she had last year." I go, "Oh, the same one." I goes, "I can't help it. My hair just turned yellow. I even put a hat on so they wouldn't recognize it." But these women were so funny. So your turn to tell a story now.
So, what are we telling stories about? I mean, okay, so I went fishing one time up in the Yukon back about the 1840s, 1849, somewhere back in then, and right during the middle of the gold rush. And we were sitting there fishing for salmon. Of course, we didn't realize that it was also time for the grizzlies to be fishing for salmon. And we're sitting there, we're just reeling these fish in left and right, you know, as fast as we can get them out of the water. Well, all of a sudden, one of my buddies is over there going like this, Bill, he's got this panic attack on him. And I just said, "Man, I'm too busy, you know, I'm getting these fish in the water." And he says, no. He says, bear. I said, "Oh, I'm feeding him. He's going to be eating something besides me."
That's hilarious. Is that when you guys first got married?
No, that was actually before Gail.
Oh, now you're really going to tell some stories.
Yeah. No, but okay, we're talking about women, right? And the silly things they get us into. Okay, so Gail and I didn't really know each other very well or very long when I asked her to marry me. In fact, it was less than 9 weeks, and 3 months into it, we were married. And 3 months later, we were battling with an insurance company because we found out she had breast cancer. So the first 6 months of our marriage was a lot of fun. So I come home one day during the middle of all this, and she's sitting there crying. I said, "What's wrong with you?" She says, "Well, you're going to leave me." I said, "Leave you?" She says, "Yeah, I'm sick. I got cancer." I said, "So is that some kind of law? What? I'm supposed to leave because you're sick?" And she says, "Well, aren't you?" She said, "You didn't sign up for all this." I said, "Sure I did." I said, "Better or worse. I just didn't expect it this soon."
Yeah, well.
So she's been cancer free for over 20 years now. Never had any more cancer. So we've been truly blessed with that.
Yeah.
But they love to go shopping, right? Yeah.
I just hate to see her go.
You ever get chills up your spine when she comes in and you didn't even know she was shopping? And all of a sudden
she goes, "I got to tell you a story." She says, "I'm going to tell you how much money I saved you today."
That's right.
I don't want to know how much you saved me. I want to know how much it cost me.
You saved me $100, but it cost me $1,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So here's one that I really like, and this is still true after 28 years, guys, and you can relate to this. Your wife goes shopping without your knowledge, buys whatever she wants, you know, within reason, most of them. And, you know, she brings it home. She puts it in the closet. 6 months later, you catch her getting it out of the closet. Still got the brand new tag on it. And it's dated 6 months ago. And she said, "Well, I just bought it." And she said, "I'm just wearing it for the first time." I said, "Oh, really?" I was about ready to go back on the used rack because you're going to wear it once and get rid of it in the fall.
Yeah, and that's one of those. It's one of those things that she goes. I just had to have it. It was one of those things I couldn't.
Oh, now she's eavesdropping. Look, now she's eavesdropping.
That's my CBD jacket.
Okay, guys, she's been doing CBD for 2 years and still got the sticker on it.
Let me tell you what, we saved you guys so much money because the way we shop, guys. If I show you some of the tags, oh my God, there's her CBD jacket. Woo! I got some CBD.
But you wish you had a model look like that.
Hey, yeah, if anybody wants some, guys, we got some. That's why we all feel so good.
Yeah.
But seriously, guys, think about the money that we save you because we're bargain shoppers. And we shop.
You go to the beauty shop. You know, it is so awesome of y'all to go through all that you go through. You spend hours and hours at a beauty shop, and you come home, and we can't even tell the difference. And you go, "What do you think, honey? I showed you this much. Can you tell me you like it?" Oh, I don't really like the streaks she put in it because they don't quite match where I wanted. So I'm gonna have to go back and she's gonna redo it. And I ain't paying her. And then you find out 6 weeks later when you're doing the checkbook, she paid her twice in 1 week.
Yeah.
That's how they save us money. Now I will tell you one thing. My wife taught me pedicure one time, right? Macho kind of guys. I don't need no damn pedicure or manicure. I said that's for them gay guys, you know. I said, I don't go for all that garbage. Well, guys, I went one day. My feet were hurting so bad, and I let her talk me into going and get a pedicure, and massage your legs and stuff a little bit too. I said, when can we do that again?
Oh, well, she's tried. She hasn't got me in there yet for that.
I tell you, Larry, I swear by him now.
Sure. Yeah, she keeps
a
saying.
20-year-old girl that's sitting there rubbing your legs and your wife can't say anything about it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, that's why I was so bad. When we first got married, we were so, I don't know, we were big time different. Deb being Italian, she was very affectionate. And I figured that was for home, you know. I didn't. It seemed very strange to me being out in public, and all of a sudden somebody got their arm around me, giving me a big kiss on the cheek or something like that. I go, baby, we gotta wait till we get home. I won't do this here. She said, your face would turn as red as a beet. Now, I just a couple nights ago, I told her, I goes, what the hell's going on lately? Don't you care anymore? What's happening? She goes, why? I goes, well, you haven't been kissing me in public. There you go. That ain't bad. The heck's going on? She goes, I don't know. So lately.
Really exciting night when it happened, you know, is I get to kiss her on the cheek, pat her on the hiney, and say, good night, baby. I love you.
Well, I mean, that's a nightly routine around here. A little pat on the bum, little pat on kiss on the cheek. And let me tell, well, in 16 years, I don't think
she's really frisky, we can kiss her twice.
Huh?
I said, if she's really frisky, we can kiss twice.
Yeah. I don't think, like I said, I don't think we ever went to bed mad at each other.
I might not be able to take that second kiss, Larry. Might be a little too
Yeah. I was very lucky. I have to say I was very fortunate in my life. I thought my first marriage, I mean, it's no doubt she was the love of my life. I was married for 40 years. And I mean, when she died, the world collapsed. That's all I can say.
Well, tell them what you told me.
You were
just waiting for your turn.
I mean, I was just waiting for my turn to die. Really. I mean, it was all over. And then I in a strange way, I met Deb. I won't go into because it was different. You know.
And we met on Match.com.
I met her, yeah, kind of on Match.com. I won't go into that so much, but And the first night I met her, I told her, I said, we're gonna get married soon. She goes, no. I goes, no. I said, I can tell. I said, I love you. I said, no doubt about it. She goes, nobody can care for somebody that quick. I goes, lady, we gonna get married. I said, I'm not kidding. My kids thought I was nuts. Well, they didn't think, they knew I was nuts at the time. But I said, why wait?
That's right.
No reason to wait. I was happy. She made me smile. She made me happy. So what was it? 6 weeks later?
6 weeks.
6 weeks to the day we got married. We went on a cruise, and life has been a bowl of cherries ever since.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I mean, I love her to death. We are so different in so many ways, but on the other hand, we're so alike in so many ways. So God's blessed me twice in my life, and yeah, I'm extremely happy. I don't know what else to say. I mean, she's a little odd sometimes. I mean, I'll give you a good, for example. I come home one afternoon and I said, we had just moved into our house in Port St. Lucie. I said, I got all the drapes hung for you, and all the rods and everything are up. She looks at me, she goes, but that one over there, it's off. I goes, what do you mean it's off? She walks over there and she moved it. I kid you not, maybe a quarter of an inch. She walked back and she goes, now it's right. I go, holy shit, I got me a real winner here.
OCD. OCD.
Oh my goodness, yeah, I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I tell you, I know all about that OCD, except I'm the one that has it. And you want to talk about making it fun? You got somebody that doesn't care what underneath that kitchen sink looks like, and you open it up and it's like 50,000 snakes just jumped out at you, and you can't do nothing but go, there's a big one. Oh, you ought to see underneath. This thing that my God find this up. Oh Lord, look at this. So I had to learn to tone my OCD down a little bit. Okay. We agreed on two things that we agreed on. One was when we got married, and that was we would always agree to change for the better. That when we had problems or issues, we'd talk about it, we'd work them out, and then we would slowly change our stuff about our life. And then about 4 years into our marriage, we only had fun. Couldn't have no more because Gail had had problems but couldn't have babies anymore. And we decided to adopt our youngest, William. And at first, William was supposed to be Wilhelmina. And the kids, we had 3 boys from her and 2 girls from me. And the kids were okay with that because they were excited about the baby. But they weren't really excited about having another girl in the house. The boys weren't. And the girls wanted a little brother. Not a big brother, but a little brother. So when we found out that Wilhelmina was really a William, that the second sonogram showed that he was a William, and everything was just pitch perfect. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better situation. It took our blended family, which was really going through some rough times, and made us into a family because we told the kids, we said, look, from here on out, we're a family. We said, absolutely, there's no, I don't want to hear the word step, siblings, whatever, any of that garbage anymore. I said, because we're adopting this child as a family together, and he's bringing us together as a family. And boy, did they ever take me literally. You talk about kids that started fighting like cats and dogs. You know, they were raised siblings from birth, literally royal siblings, because I mean they fought just like regular kids do. You know, there was no holds barred. I mean, they were either best of friends or they were at each other's throats. And if you got in the middle of it, oh no, that was a big mistake. No, you don't want to do that because then you're the bad guy and they're out there having their good old time while you're fighting with your wife because the kids just got a big fight and you're taking the side of this one, I'm taking the side of that one, and we're going to fight and the kids are outside playing. No. So you don't want to do that. Don't get in the middle of it. Let them fight it out. Get the boxing gloves out. We did that with the boys. We let them duke it out a couple times, and then they were fine. They learned to respect each other a little better, but they, never let them get hurt. You just put the gloves on, let them. They do this with girls, I'm gonna hit you. No, I'm gonna hit you. Hit you. So, but it was just kid stuff, and they did great. So one time, when Gail used to love to bring people home to live with us, not dogs, not cats,
people and dogs.
4th of July one year, she comes home from Walmart. She says, "Honey, I need to talk to you." I said, "Oh, really? What's going on now, honey?" And she said, "Well, I brought this young girl and her little year-old baby home with us. She was sitting in the car looking for money so she could go get milk to feed the baby." I said, "Okay." I said, "And just what do you intend on doing with this? You can't keep her forever, And she says, "Well, I'm just keeping her for the weekend, and she's going to call her family and come. They're going to come get her." I said, "Okay." So we got the baby in the house. We got the baby all cleaned up. Got the baby a bath, and Mama, she didn't smell too great. Apples have been sitting in the sun a month too long, and she didn't want to take a shower. We're going to smell this all weekend. Okay, this is really good. So it was 4th of July weekend, which was a good thing because that means it's hot outside, the pools are up, all that good stuff, right? My brother invited us over for a barbecue, and she did not want to get in the swimming pool. Well, we finally convinced her to get in the swimming pool, and guess what? The rest of the weekend, she smelled pretty good. Happy ending to the story was she got back home and got the help she needed. So, but my wife's done stuff like that for like the first 10 or 12 years we were married. We always had people in our house that we were trying to help intervention with, whether it was a wife with her 4 kids that her husband was abusing them, from a young black man that we had one time for almost a year. He just got caught up in some stupid stuff, and he ended up going to jail. But, I still think we helped him become a better person during that time. And, we had several ladies in the house that were ex-drug addicts, and we had rules, and they got one chance. If they broke the rules once, we'd give them a second chance. After that, and someplace else to live, because we had kids in the house and we couldn't afford to take the chances. The kids came first. Right. They couldn't follow the rules. I'm sorry, it was gone. So that was a big thing that Gail liked. And I commend her for it, even though it was kind of crazy, But
I'm sure
our kids tell you stories about some of the stuff that happened during those years about people would do that, it's crazy stuff. But then we went for years because, like Larry and I were talking earlier today, both of us started our businesses with pretty much a chicken leg and a couple scratchings. I started my generator business. Snapping right on that my dad gave me a push broom, and I went out and spent $120 on a brand new weed eater so I could weed eat. And literally cleaned parking lots, mowed anywhere I could find people that would let me mow. And I started targeting places that had generators, small businesses that had generators, and I'd get their landscaping. And then once I got their landscaping, I would start talking to them about their generator.
Right.
Administrator one day, when I started talking to her about doing maintenance on her generator, she said, "Bill, you mow my yard. What do you know about generators?" I said, "A lot more than about mowing your yard. Let me tell you." I said, "I got over 20 years experience working on generators." She said, "Well, why are you mowing yards?" I said, "To prove to you I'm going to be here next year when you need me."
Yeah. So I started up my construction business. It was the same way. I mean, I literally, at that time, I was working in, I worked for what they call, it was a line contractor. We subcontracted work like from Florida Power and Light or Niagara Mohawk, right? I was working in New York, but we were living in Michigan. So I'd fly back and forth every weekend. And I told my wife, told me, she goes, "Honey, this has got to change. It's too much." I mean, she goes, I got 4 kids all week. You come home and you're here for 2 days and you're gone again. So I knew the company I was working for, they were fixing to shut down because we just about finished with that big project. So I said, well, I goes, I don't know a lot about it, but I built a few houses. let me see if I can pass the contractor's test. We lived in Michigan, so let me see if I can pass that test. I said, if I can, we just start a construction business. So I went down and I did more than pass it. I made like a 97 or 98 on the test, and so I started the business, and it was not in the best of times. It was in the early to the mid 80s, and that's when things weren't real good. But from day one, I always had work because there wasn't a job that I wouldn't do. My first job was a house that the foundation was completely collapsing on, and you had to jack the whole house up, take a little D6 dozer, run underneath it, put new footings under it, and at the same time keep that house so it's not going to fall. That was my very first job in business. And after that, I seemed to get all the ones that nobody wanted to do. So
because you worked tell us how you worked in any kind of weather.
Yeah, it didn't make any difference if it was 50 below with the wind chill factor, or if it was 100 degrees. I worked year round. And I know the guys that work for me, they used to say, we can't work, our hands are freezing. I go, get more gloves in because we're working today. And it just seemed like there wasn't nothing I would turn down. I would always work no matter the weather. My son, my oldest son, when he got old enough, he was going to University or Michigan State at the time. And he came home for, I think it was actually spring break. No matter when they came home, they knew they were going to go to work for Dad for whatever time they were home. They weren't just coming home to sit on their bum. They were going to work. So we're out there working on spring break, and it was so cold. And my poor son looked at me and said, Dad, I just can't take this anymore. I got to go home. So I let him go home. But that's just how it was.
They all got good work ethics.
You know something? They all got good work ethics and the way they work. My oldest son he teaches anatomy and physiology in high school. My youngest son, he graduated from the Naval Academy and then retired from the Navy. My oldest daughter graduated from University of Michigan. She's been going to school for as long as I know, and she's got a degree in accounting. I don't know what else. She speaks like 3 or 4 different languages. And my youngest daughter, her and her husband, before they divorced, they had a huge landscaping business. So, and my stepchildren, the same way. Deb's daughter, her and her husband, they have do real estate, and they do quite well at it. And then my stepson, he makes fake eyeballs. It sounds funny, but he's and you wouldn't think to look at him, you say, oh, no, that's not, he can't do that. But he's very, very good at it. So, the kids all have done well. We're very proud of them, as you are of your children, I can tell.
Not mine. No, what are you kidding? I got three of them are in the pen. Okay. That's the dog pen because they clean the kennel for Gabe. Oh, y'all thought no. Yeah, our kids are great. They all have pretty good work ethics. They all work hard. We have 13 grandkids. Our 13th one will be here in the next month or through. We're in the middle of all this Corona stuff. So we are in day 621 of our 14-day lockdown. Nobody seems to know when this is going to end.
I know.
We all know that it's going to end good because we all serve a good God, and He will take care of us through all this.
He always has all my life. I'm not worried about it. It's just people need to listen a little more to what's going on, pay a little bit more attention. But we're lucky. It's a lockdown. I don't care if I stay here for the next 3 months. My wife and I will be here together. So I'm super happy. Now,
Okay.
all those votes got to come on now. They talk all there.
Larry,
It's time to start sharing
Larry,
it.
Larry, I got to tell you something, man. I got to tell you something. This is super important. Okay? All right, you ready with this one now? All right. Have you ever heard the world's fastest joke?
Yeah, it's gone.
Huh?
It's already gone.
No. Yeah, I asked you if you've ever heard it. That's a yes or no question. You ever
No.
heard the world's fastest joke?
No.
Do you need to hear it again?
I told you it's gone. I knew it, Bill. Bill, I didn't know you.
I invited Gail back in too, so we got about 5 minutes left, guys, and let's just finish it up. So, a couple things real quick.
Husband.
When Gail and I first got married, somewhere along the lines, I tell people about this all the time. When we were both fight, you know, and we tried to fight nice, but not all. Okay? I mean, who does, right? But this one guy, he was a young guy. We had to go to him for family counseling because of our blended family situation. One of the kids actually turned us into CPS, and so we went to this counseling, and we agreed with the guy. We learned some new stuff and new ways to handle it, and the kids hated it. I mean, we learned about timeouts and other ways to get to them besides just busting their butts like we got when we were kids, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things he taught me and Gail was, seriously, if you can't have an argument without really hurting each other, he told us just take your clothes off, go and get in the
I
bathtub
can't believe you're
and sit
saying that on
down
TV.
and
No, don't get in the
and have your heart you know, it's hard to be ugly with somebody when you're sitting there. You're totally exposed is what the whole point of it was. It's not the not being naked. You're naked, all right, but it's there's nothing there for you to hide behind like you do.
Exactly, and then you can start teaching each other
So,
about certain
this
body
went on for quite a while, over many years, that we would take baths and have conversations and figure out how to deal with stuff. And one day I come home from work and I say, "Hey, you want to take a bath tonight?" And she just got this real sad look on her face. What did I do now? I said, nothing. I just kind of like taking baths now.
Oh my God! So you
I
start
was always in trouble.
get in the tub. Yeah, that's like picking fight so you can get in that tub.
I would come home. We had a huge bathtub in this one house we lived in for 20 years. And we loved it. We could, you know, tune the kids out for a while and just go sit down and relax, you know. But one of the other, we always called it, if she do something silly like spend too much money on clothes or something, I look at her and I say, "Now, Lucy." I always called her Lucy because of her beautiful red hair.
Yeah.
Lucy, oh Lucy, you got some explaining to do.
Shame on you.
So
Well, I tell you what, being married to this man for me has just been understanding what a real relationship is, because I was married before and it was not a good marriage. I got my amazing, beautiful kids out of that is all I got, because he was not an active father. He was not a father or grandfather today. And we all have our issues sometimes with our children and stuff, but all we can do is show them who we are and hope that they follow in those footsteps that are right, and also don't do the things that are wrong. And I also believe that, you know, with marriage, for me, it's, you know, forgiving no matter what, because there's been things that we both have talked about and done to each other at angry times, you know, whether it's just a word. But right away, we walk away. I know to leave him alone when he's a little bit wound up and angry because he doesn't want to talk, where I'm the opposite. And I learned from Coach Christian watching his show too, how women are completely different. We want to tell you what's going on and what our issue is. Men don't want to hear it. They want to know what
we got about 30 seconds. So everybody get one shot, say whatever you want, but keep it short, okay? Go for it.
Love you guys. It's been a blast. It really has.
All right, their turn.
Your turn.
Go for the girls.
Okay. Girls drool, boys drool.
No, vote for the girls.
We had the club, we were ready to box, but it's time's up, guys. So we love y'all. Be safe.
Yeah.
Take care.
And tell everybody about Ordinary People. We're are here
Yeah.
for y'all, and we want to hear your story. Everybody's story matters, y'all. Bye, guys.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Love y'all.
Love
Love
everybody.
y'all.